Okay, so let me show you what I've discovered this week. I've lit 1 or 2 fires, or 2 to 3 fires, probably more likely, every day this week for the past 7 days. I've tried lots of different things, as usual, and it's all good fun. I'm enjoying it, but I've come to this situation now, which I'm going to make a video of. So what I've done is I've put a vermiculite roof here, directly opposite the end of the vortex slot, and then it simply gets an inch bigger on these 3 sides. I've tried tapering pieces of glass and I've tried sloping the glass up. They all work, but this is just such a simple method. There's just really nothing to it. It's very basic. And then I've slid the glass right up to this front edge. So we've only actually got a gap of 40 millimeters from there to the front glass and 185 through here, or 190, I can't remember, but it's system size. And then also, I'm going to put this grate in. I haven't tried this yet. This is a brand new experiment for this night, but I put this perforated grid because the charcoal, although that probably works for mass heaters, as you're still percolating the heat through the system, and because it's primarily a space heater and a cooking hob, I don't really want to have all this charcoal and a long slow burn. I want it to keep furiously burning. So we'll try that and we'll see what happens. So I've loaded up the firebox, completely loaded it up, and I've got air gaps in between all the wood. We've got potential air coming up underneath, so it should produce a roaring fire. We've just got our system sized gap on the front here, so it's very close to this front glass. And then the other thing I've done is I've got a piece of glass down the back, which is way over system sized gap, but hopefully it will keep the heat. Because when I've tried it in the past with nothing in this box, you don't get a very equal heat on top of the hot plate. So we'll try that piece of glass in the back. Hopefully it'll keep the heat a bit higher up, and we'll see how that works. Now I'll just put a few fire lighters in there. We'll set fire to it and we'll see what happens. So I put a match, put a couple of fire lighters in there, put a match to it. As usual, it roars into life. We've got a cold stove. I lit it this morning, so it's not stone cold, but it's cold. And we'll see what happens, see if we get any smoking of glass or whatever, and we'll see how equal temperatures we can get on top of the roof. I've made a right mess. Honestly, I've been testing all week. I've tried so many different variants, but we'll see what happens with this fire. So I've just lit the stove, as you know. Now you can see quite clearly what's happening. Well, hopefully you can see through the glass what's happening. The vortex is forming, and then as it exits the vortex slot, it's going straight into a bigger area. And this is allowing all the gases to expand, but it's not actually going past. It's difficult to see with the reflection, but across there is our top glass, and none of the flames are going past that. So, I mean, that's working very well. We've got no smoke on the glass. I mean, the fire is only still just sort of coming to life, and this is the danger zone, but it seems to be working okay at the moment. It's quite spectacular. But we've certainly got 0 smoke. I can see the chimney. Okay, so the fire is absolutely raging at the moment. We've got no smoke in the glass, but we have got a bit of overfueling. Occasionally seeing the flames going past the end of this piece of glass. But there's no smoke, no visible smoke coming out of the chimney, and we really have got quite a raging fire. I mean, I can't get much more of a bigger fire in this firebox. So that's about as big as it will go. And it's probably not quite as attractive. I mean, it's fast and furious, that's no doubt about that. That is whether or not it's attractive as having the bullseyes coming towards you, probably not. But yeah, it's effective. It's something else to take into consideration and work on, if nothing else. We'll see how the fire develops, see how many ashes and coals we're left with. And also another thing is that I've been testing the heat on top of the glass. Yeah, so the top of the glass here, if I shine this is in Fahrenheit, so I think it's about 400 degrees centigrade, but we're approaching 800 degrees Fahrenheit on my tiny little vortex stove, and that's on top of the hot plate. I mean, that's pushing it, that's really pushing it, and it's pretty equal all over. I mean, we're going right down to 350, but that's right off the corner. The vast majority of it is around a 600, 680, 700, and then when we find the center, which is round here, there we got, it's getting approaching 760, 770. Amazing. So it's settled down a little bit. I mean, the fire is still burning pretty flippin' strong, and the vortex is definitely more behaved now that the stove's warmed up. Yeah, I mean, it might look more impressive on the camera, but in real life, I think the actual seeing the bullseyes coming towards me is probably more attractive overall. But if this works, if this is effective and simple way of building it, certainly a step in the right direction, I feel. Perhaps one of the potential issues is that the actual door itself, this is outside of a door, you know, we were getting 500 and 600 degrees certainly at the top of the door. This is on the cement board, 700 and odd degrees, so I don't know how long that's going to last. It's because the flames are so close to the actual glass on the front. We're getting some very interesting behaviour along the front here. There's no fuel, but we've got an awful lot of flames, and I'm assuming it's the air coming from these vents, which is coming underneath my perforated plate. Yeah, and it's catching fire to the smoke. That's quite, I wasn't expecting that. It's quite impressive. It's like a curtain of flame across the front, right in front of the air holes here. But I think it's these holes that are supplying that, and these holes are, I don't know, perhaps these holes are igniting it, I don't know. But that's quite impressive. The vortex is still running really nicely. I mean, it's completely well behaved now as the fire has died down. I think we've been burning only for about 35 minutes. Oh, that's really impressive. It's amazing how these little changes always make so much difference. But that's red hot in the back, very, very much under control. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so the fire's pretty much burnt down. So what I'll try is do a normal trick. We'll chuck on a couple more bits of wood and see if you get any overfueling issues. Sorry for the noise, if I can find a couple of suitable bits. Okay, let's have a look. Let's put in 3 nice pieces of wood. Certainly killed the fire for a minute. Let's see what happens. It shouldn't take long to catch. I mean, we're talking almost 600 degrees centigrade. It's way over 800 degrees centigrade inside the firebox. And here comes the vortex starting to form now. And now that the stove has really got hot, we are getting more of the effect of we haven't got so many unburnt gases, simply because of the temperatures inside the firebox, I think. And now we're getting more of that bullseye effect. Yep, it's looking pretty good. Let's see if it overfuels. Yeah, that's looking pretty impressive. I think without those steps which is introduced, which is obviously pretty much exactly the same as Peter Vandenberg has ended up doing with his shorty core. Now this really is a test. I mean, that is on the limit. We haven't actually got any flames going over the edge, but that is pushing it to the limit. I can look up, there's 0 smoke coming out of the chimney, which is something. And you can certainly see how it works. You can certainly see the gas is expanding and pushing the system to a limit. But we still seem to be burning all the gases. There's no unburnt fuel escaping past the front edge of the glass, which is what we're aiming for. I mean, it's certainly reaching the front edge of the glass, but it's not going past it. By the way, it's the temperatures have dropped right down now. We're only at 18 degrees centigrade. We've got rain and we've got high wind. We've actually got 40-mile-an-hour wind. This is why the stove is being pretty temperamental like this. I've just got a short chimney and there's no form of wind control on top of the chimney, so this is testing it to the extreme. Yeah, I mean, I'm really impressed by that. gives me another aspect to work on. And it certainly makes the build very easy. I mean, basically there's nothing inside the top box now, and the top box in actual fact could probably be made a lot smaller. I mean, I did like the aspect when I had the tapered sides and the glass at an angle, because it gave another dimension to the viewing. But for simplicity and practicability, simplicity of build, with the square staggered edges, it's so much easier. I think that's a pretty good test. I mean, the wood down the bottom is probably gone past its maximum ability to produce the wood gas. I mean, it's quite blackened now. That's worked really well. I think that was quite a successful experiment. I don't know what happens if we open the door, and if that makes any difference. Not really. I mean, well, in natural fact, it probably helps it. It's completely under control now. You can poke these round a bit. I mean, that definitely seems like a step in the right direction. Gives me another angle. Like I say, we've got tremendous wind. It's actually blowing me around inside my little outbuilding here. That's the problem about you living on an island. The weather's very unpredictable, and we certainly get a lot of high wind. But that's great. I'm very, very happy with that experiment. We'll see what happens tomorrow.